Breitling is one of the most well-known luxury watch brands on the international stage, consistently being in the top 10 in turnover annually. Given their level of mass market awareness, there's a subset of watch enthusiasts that might classify Breitling as not being enthusiast-oriented given the era of the 2000s and early 2010s where big and flashy was the MO. However, looking at the small segment of time to represent what the brand is capable of today would be selling Breitling's 140-year plus history short. And it would also be ignoring some of the most impressive mechanical watches in their respective price segments. In this video, we look at 3 specific examples from modern Breitling that prove that you need to be taking them a bit more seriously. So if the first 50 years of Breitling's existence could be summarized by a single word, it would be chronographs. Although there are several brands that can take ownership of being early contributors to mechanical stopwatch functions, Breitling has arguably the most impressive track record in this arena. Shortly after Leon Breitling's beginnings as a watchmaker starting the brand back in 1884, the company developed several innovations including the pulsograph, allowing doctors to read a patient's pulse, as well as a chronograph that measured up to 2/5 of a second increments. By the turn of the 20th century, Breitling had produced over 100,000 chronographs and stopwatches. And keep in mind that some prominent luxury names would not release their first in-house mechanical chronograph nearly 100 years after this point. His son Gaston oversaw the company and drove forward other major milestones as well, including one of the first wrist-worn chronographs in 1915, a modified pocket watch that featured a monopusher at 2 o'clock. In 1923, Breitling launched a chronograph with 2 pushers, the stop and start at the 2 o'clock and then the reset at the crown. The final culmination of setting the tone of what future chronographs would look like would come in 1934, with Willy Breitling now operating as the company's leader, where the brand revolutionized the chronograph, developing the now traditional layout we expect for chronos, with the stop and start being at 2 o'clock and the reset at 4 o'clock. The 1940s brings us to our first watch that I would like to look at, conveniently going by the name that translates from French to first, Premier. Being officially launched in 1943, the Premier family serves as one of the longest standing names in the Breitling catalog, including some of the most elegantly designed offerings the company has, while being one of my personal favorites given the underdog nature compared to Breitling's long list of icons. In fact, I'm wearing a Breitling B09 pistachio on my wrist right now for reference. Shortly after the release of the Premier, Breitling unveiled a watch known as the Duograph. So what is a duograph exactly? It's a split seconds chronograph featuring 2 superimposed chronograph hands, one for measuring intermediate time while the other continues running. In other words, multiple events can be timed easily with the help of a third pusher in the crown that will be used to split the seconds after timing 2 consecutive events, one after the other. And from there, you still will have your 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock pushers that will operate per usual. Does having this function maybe seem mildly useless nowadays? Perhaps, but if that is how we're going to measure any of this and whether we should have interest in watches, then you probably shouldn't even watch this channel to begin with, as that is not what this is all about. If you are still with me though, it is important to recognize that split seconds or rattrapants are commonly quoted by master watchmakers as the most difficult complications to make apart from chiming mechanisms. This is a watch that retails for $11,250 and is currently the most attainable split seconds chronograph from a major brand in watchmaking. For comparison, Patek Philippe's 5370 split-second chronograph retails for a staggering $297,000. As much as screaming value in the luxury watch space might seem pretty silly, the Duograph is more than worthy of the claim. Breitling created a new split seconds module to make the Duograph a reality at this price point. The caliber B15 is actually a modular execution of Breitling's B03, an earlier split second movement derived from Breitling's pioneering B01 movement introduced in 2009. It has a rate of 28,800 vibrations per hour or 4 Hertz and has a power reserve of 70 hours. The B15 is a column wheel vertical clutch caliber for the instantaneous response so beloved by aficionados. And Breitling was really thinking when this movement was designed, using an additional split second wheel to make the split seconds movement practical to produce, instead of the traditional clamps used by high horology brands. The manual wound B15 caliber is also COSC certified, a fact that can get glossed over when talking about the rest of the chronograph. And this all comes with a pretty attractive looking movement as well, with a visible column wheel, Geneva waves on the central bridges, polished screw heads, and engraving. So our team of writers put together a wide list of wrap-ups for the end of the year for 2024, including some other fun articles that you guys might want to check out. One of those is a fantasy watch article where each writer picks out one watch that they would like to see in the future. We got pretty creative with this one. In addition, we also have some editors' picks of some of the watches of the year, with each writer picking out their single favorite watch from 2024. Also underrated watches of 2024, where we look at some of the sleeper picks throughout the year. That is just scratching the surface though. So if you want more content like this, you have to go to our website, subscribe to our newsletter. I want our website to be the destination that you go to for all things watch related. We are doing hands-on reviews, ownership reviews, listicle content, looking at some of the top picks, news articles, right at embargo releases, and also fun articles like this that I just mentioned. I will link to all of this in the description down below. Definitely check it out on teddybaldessar.com. So strangely enough, the second watch on this list is also from the Premier collection, and that is not to say that the Premier collection is the only place to look from Breitling. I just do think it is a sleeper collection, and there's a lot of watches within the collection that really show off what the brand is capable of outside of the typical Navitimer, Chronomat, and things of that sort. This additional highlight of the Premier lineup is the gorgeous salmon copper dialed Premier B25 Datora 42, featuring what is known as a complete calendar chronograph. If you're unfamiliar with a complete calendar, it offers the display of a day, date, month, moon phase, only needing to be adjusted 5 times throughout the year for February and months ending in 30 days, differing from annual calendars and perpetual calendars. Breitling hasn't stopped there though. The modern Datora also boasts a quarter-second chronograph with a 30-minute counter and running second subdial at 9. The Datora first appeared in the Premier lineup in 1945 utilizing a Venus caliber 187. It was elegant then, and it remains so today, with a classic aesthetic and a modern package. And again, in a similar theme, Breitling offers a compelling value proposition when compared to many other watches with triple calendar complications, which can easily become multiples of the price of this one. I've also seen this watch being compared to the Patek Philippe 5270, which might not be the fairest of comparisons given that that is a perpetual calendar chronograph, yet I would consider it high praise given this being one of Patek's best current production references in my opinion. Even in precious metal, the watch retails for less than the trading price of a Daytona, coming in an eggshell dial color in this instance that combines with the gold tone case beautifully. The Datora utilizes an automatic COSC certified caliber B25 movement, which was co-developed with the Swiss movement manufacturer Concepto. If you are in the know, you may have likely heard of Concepto because they have worked with a variety of brands including Jacob & Co., Hublot, Zinn, Porsche Design, and Bulgari. In fact, they even worked to develop a mechanical mechatronic instrument cluster within a Bugatti. The B25 movement is based off of Concepto's C2000, designed by the movement maker as an efficient caliber to take on modular complications being derived from the Valjoux 7750. The caliber does get massive upgrades though to massively change the proposition altogether, swapping the cam system for a vertical clutch column wheel setup, while also getting upgrades in the finishing department. So far, we've been looking at traditional high watchmaking complications that are available at prices rarely seen with chronographs as the focus. On the other side of Breitling's renowned skill set is its long list of professional watches, which are a unique range of serious purpose-built tools for those who find themselves in extreme environments. The genesis of Breitling's professional lineup began back in the 1930s, with the brand's production of cockpit clocks used in military aircraft. After many years of instances of Breitling watches in use by pilots, astronauts, and other adventurers, the Instruments for Professionals brand mantra became official after the sale of Breitling in 1979 to the entrepreneur and private pilot Ernest Schneider. And it was at this point when Pandora's box was open, leading to several high-tech developments. What made Breitling's embrace of quartz and digital technology different was that they didn't merely see quartz or digital watchmaking as a cost-saving measure. They approached it with a creative edge that ultimately led to one of the brand's icons, the Aerospace, being released in 1985. The double display featured both analog hands and a unique twin LCD screen configuration. Best of all, its entire functionality, analog and digital, was controlled by a single crown, making for a truly intuitive interface. The watch was also high-tech in its use of lightweight, durable titanium for the case and the bracelet, a rarity at the time. And in a nod to the distinctive design of the Chronomat released the previous year, the Aerospace utilized the infamous rider tabs on its bezel, which allowed the wearer to easily rotate the bezel in flight, even with gloves, and enhance the legibility in the process. Today's no-nonsense professional lineup includes the modern edition of the Aerospace, the entry-level Endurance Pro models, and their purpose-built rescue tool, the Breitling Emergency. The Endurance Pro models are constructed of Breitling's proprietary Brightlight material, a composite of carbon and polymer that features high durability and reduced weight. First employed in the Colt Sky Racer, the Endurance Pro's movements are COSC certified super quartz chronograph calibers, quoted to run at an accuracy within 10 seconds per year. And the movements are also thermocompensated, meaning that they're going to be resistant to extreme fluctuations in temperature. The Endurance Pros come on a rubber strap and are available in multiple different colorways at both 38mm and 44mm sizes. The father of the Professional series is the 1985 Aerospace, and its modern day iterations include the Aerospace Evo, a 100-meter water-resistant analog digital model in a 43mm titanium case and bracelet with 1/100th of a second chronograph. Under the same umbrella, we have the Aerospace B70 Orbiter, also constructed of titanium, and this model was created to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the record-setting circumnavigation of the Earth in the Breitling Orbiter 3 hot air balloon. Finally, the Breitling Emergency offers one of the most unique propositions in watchmaking, an instrument with a purpose-built distress beacon that calls on a search and rescue team to save you almost anywhere in the world. Built for the most undaunted adventurers, the Emergency is a 51mm titanium beast, first introduced in 1995. The original idea for the Emergency came about from a conversation between Schneider and a NATO officer, discussing the benefits of a portable emergency transmitter that could be worn like a watch, and from there, the seed was planted. The Emergency can claim that it's actually saved lives with its tech, and the dual frequency beacon of the current models means that it's more reliable than the original. Simply put, the wearer unscrews the crown, extends the antenna, and then triggers the beacon. The watch's transmitter broadcasts on an aviation distress frequency, monitored by an international search and rescue operation. They can detect the signal from up to 100 miles away, and the signal repeats for 48 hours. That signal alerts local rescue authorities to provide your exact location. But a few words of advice here, however, is that if you activate the beacon and you're not in an emergency situation, you can be hit with a really hefty fine. And another bit of trivia, just because you sell Breitling doesn't mean you can automatically sell the Emergency, as the brand requires the dealer to go through the necessary training in order to better inform their customers and actually know how to operate it. But there you have it. Those are 3 watches that I wanted to mention as places that might make you take Breitling a little bit more seriously. The Navitimer, those are obvious. The Chronomat, obvious. The Super Ocean, these are obvious watches from the brand that people I think respect. Here are some different watches though that I think maybe aren't considered as much as some of the others. If you guys enjoyed the video, maybe you learned something throughout, give the video a thumbs up. Also, what is your favorite Breitling watch? Leave a comment down below. Definitely check out TeddyBaldassar.com. TeddyBaldassar.com is an authorized dealer for over 30 brands. Every purchase from TeddyBaldassar.com comes with a full factory warranty, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support. Also, how we're able to fund all of our productions here is through selling watches. So if you are in the market for a watch, we'd love to have your business. Allow us to keep doing what we're doing here. We love what we do. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.